Picture a quiet neighborhood. The sun is just setting, casting long shadows across the street. A man walks up to a quaint house, his face etched with lines of stress and worry. This is not the face of a man coming home to peace and tranquility, but of a soldier stepping onto a battlefield. In his eyes there's a glimmer of hope, a longing for the comfort of home, a sanctuary from the outside world. He reaches for the doorknob, taking a deep breath as he braces himself. The door creaks open, revealing a warm, inviting interior. But his heart is heavy with anticipation, not of a loving welcome, but of a looming confrontation. Overlay text appears reading, "When home becomes a battlefield." The camera follows the man as he steps inside, the door closing behind him. The stage is set for a struggle that will test the strength of love, the resilience of a relationship, and the destructive power of outside influence. As he steps further into what should be his safe haven, we sense a shift from the serene exterior to the storm brewing inside. This is the beginning of an emotional journey, one that will unravel the thread of a once loving relationship. Stay with us as we delve into this tale of love, loss, and the consequences of letting others dictate your life. Is the bond of matrimony so fragile that a third person's influence can tear it apart? This question echoes as we witness the unraveling thread of a once loving relationship. Picture this. A weary husband returns home from a long day of work, hoping to find solace in his sanctuary. Instead, he is greeted with misunderstanding and conflict. Every action, every word, is misconstrued by his wife, creating an atmosphere thick with tension. With patience, he attempts to explain the pressures of his job, the weight of responsibility he carries every day. He talks about the importance of his work, how it ensures their livelihood, underlining the need to manage their expenses wisely. He expresses a simple desire, a wish for respect and kind behavior from his beloved when he comes home after a grueling day. But alas, his words seem to fall on deaf ears. His wife's mind appears to be under the sway of another, her mother. In every decision, in every judgment, the mother's influence is evident. His wife, once his partner, now seems like a puppet, her strings being pulled by her mother. This revelation is the beginning of a growing chasm in their relationship. The husband senses it, the widening gap, the fading warmth. His wife, once his confidant, his best friend, is now a stranger. The realization that his wife is no longer just his, but also her mother's, is a bitter pill to swallow. It's a change that he hadn't anticipated, a change that he is unwilling to accept. The husband's heart aches as he watches his wife drift away, pulled by the invisible strings of her mother's influence. It's a sight that brings him sorrow, a sight that marks the beginning of the end. The seed of discord was sown, and the rift between the husband and wife began to widen. The thread of their bond starts to unravel, and the once happy home is now a house divided. As we will see, this is just the start of their story, a tale of love, loss, and the consequences of letting others dictate your life. Can a parent's love for their children push them to the brink of exhaustion? We find ourselves asking this as we delve deeper into the life of our protagonist, the husband. In his quest for a peaceful environment, he takes the reins of the household into his hands. He becomes the chef, the caretaker, the chauffeur, and the provider, juggling between his work and home, the lines between the two blurring with each passing day. He starts his mornings with the clatter of pots and pans, cooking meals and packing lunches for his children. He then switches to the role of a janitor, tidying up the house and managing the kitchen supplies. His afternoons are spent hurrying down grocery aisles, trying to keep up with the list of items needed at home. Despite his efforts, the wife remains indifferent. She continues to push her mother's wishes onto him, further straining their already fragile relationship. The constant quarrels become a grim backdrop to their daily life, creating an environment of tension and distress. And caught in this storm are the children. Their young minds are exposed to the daily confrontations, their innocent hearts bearing the brunt of the discord. Their grades start to slip, their laughter fades, and their eyes reflect the turmoil at home. The husband, in his quest for peace, found himself trapped in a whirlwind of responsibilities and stress. His love for his children drove him to the edge, but at what cost? How far can one go to avoid conflict, and at what cost? In the silent corners of his heart, the husband battles daily. The pressure at work, the unresolved tension at home, it all begins to take a toll on him. His health starts spiraling downwards. High blood pressure and diabetes, silent predators, creep into his life, further complicating the situation. The constant quarrels, the unending demands, they all become a cacophony he wishes to mute. And so, he chooses silence as his defense. He stops communicating with his wife, hoping to find some semblance of peace in the deafening quietness. Yet the battlefield extends beyond their relationship. It seeps into the lives of their children. The strain of their failing marriage casts long, ominous shadows over their offspring. The children, innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire, are showing signs of distress. Their mental, physical, and educational well-being is compromised, and that's a price too high to pay. As the walls of his world start closing in, the husband makes a heart-wrenching decision. He decides it's time to untangle from this web of discord, to break away from this cycle of constant conflict. He chooses separation, a path laden with pain but promising a chance at peace. With a heavy heart, the husband decides to separate, marking the end of a tumultuous journey. Who bears the brunt of a broken marriage? It's a question that echoes in the silence of a now empty home. The children, once lively and full of joy, are now the silent victims of a love that was lost. They're left to navigate the turbulent waters of a fractured family, caught in the crossfire of their parents' failed relationship. As the dust settles, the husband and wife, once bound by vows, now lead separate lives. Each embarks on a new journey, away from the battleground their home had become. Yet, their departure leaves behind a poignant reminder of the war waged and the casualties it claimed. This tale is a stark lesson to all. The influence of external entities like the wife's parental family can wreak havoc on a marriage. It's a solemn reminder of the importance of preserving the sanctity of the marital bond, for in the end, it was the innocent children who paid the price for the parents' discord.